Hi, how's your love life? Are you frustrated with your dating life? Are you newly single and find yourself dreading the meat market? Does the term pickup artist rub you the wrong way? Are you more interested in quality than quantity? Maestro's method is a mature, ethical approach to attracting the right people. It's rooted in evolutionary psychology, mythology, and practical experience. And it works both for men and women. So what does this mean? Let's break it down. By mature, I mean that this work is intended for mature-minded people of any age. There are lots of systems out there, and I'm specifically speaking to men now. There are plenty of dating methods out there that promise you can get laid tonight. That's not what Maestro's method is about. I have, in fact, studied and worked with guys that specialize in teaching that sort of thing, and I've nothing against one-night stands per se. In fact, I've been there and done that. Most of us have. But frankly, at this stage of my career, I prefer working with people who value quality over quantity. I also use the term mature to mean careful and thorough, as in a mature analysis of my clients' dating habits. Mature also connotes wisdom, experience, and sophistication. These are qualities I value in myself and others, and I try to season Maestro's method with generous helpings of each. So what do I mean by ethical? After all, my idea of right and wrong may not be the same as yours. By ethical, I simply mean that when it comes to dating, honesty is the best policy. Lying is like taking drugs. There's a brief high followed by long, painful consequences. Lying ultimately attracts the wrong people and drives away the right people. Maestro's method is not about tricking or seducing someone into liking you. It's about presenting your best self, your honest self, honing your integrity in order to attract the people who will support your dreams and goals. Evolutionary psychology is a very broad category, essentially referring to the study of human impulses, based, of course, on Darwin's theory of natural selection. I use it in Maestro's method to explain the differences between male and female gender instincts. Men, for instance, are genetically programmed to value a woman's physical appearance more than women do a man's. And women value a man's social status more than men do a woman's. Now, because our instincts often overwhelm our higher brain faculties, even smart men and women sometimes fall for bimbos and bad boys. It is possible, however, to find partners with whom you have both a gut-level attraction as well as intellectual and spiritual compatibility. Maestro's method is about reconciling your heart with your brain. So, what is mythology, and what does it have to do with dating? You may associate the term with boring humanities lectures about ancient gods and monsters and rituals, or you may be familiar with the great works of Joseph Campbell. But mythologizing is something most of us do almost every day. In very simple terms, myths are popular stories that explain why things are the way they are. Every culture from the dawn of man has circulated such tales, handing them down to succeeding generations. And our modern American culture is no different. In our time, these stories are circulated not only from person to person, but through mass media like books and movies. Women love romantic stories that present a happy ending. Why? Because deep down, on a gut level, most women, even today, want to live happily ever after with a knight in shining armor. This type of story resonates with core feminine instincts. Men like action movies. Why? Because male genes are programmed to compete for resources, including women. Stories that demonstrate men battling each other over status resonate with core masculine instincts. Our own love lives often take on mythological proportions. We tell our friends stories about this girl or that guy in our lives, not only to entertain, but also to learn from each other. Sometimes these stories reinforce our successes. Other times, however, these stories fuel destructive patterns. What do I mean by practical experience? I use the term to indicate that action is necessary for improvement. It's not enough for us to theorize about our relationships. We have to take tangible steps to improve them. And like all skills, social skills, including dating skills, improve with practice. Have you ever heard people talk about how differently men and women think? And then you talk to someone else, and they insist that our minds are the same, but our bodies are different. Well, here's the deal. In our higher brain faculties, men and women are pretty much the same. We all have the capacity to love and compete over resources, to form political, social, and religious values, and to make decisions based on rational thought. But deep down, in our gender instincts, men and women are very different. Now, without getting into the details of those differences here, let me just tell you a little bit about how Maestro's method addresses gender instincts. By far, the biggest issue with my male clients is approach anxiety. Most men are instinctively fearful of initiating flirtatious encounters with attractive women. Now, this is so because for many thousands of years, only the most dominant men had access to the majority of attractive women. And in some ways, this still applies today. But in those days, a man could easily lose his life for getting involved with one of the king's wives or concubines. The primary issue for my female clients is teaching them to discern quickly which attractive men are worth pursuing and which ones are bad news. And this is simply a matter of asking the right questions. Women are instinctively driven to bad boys, but there are, believe it or not, good bad boys and bad bad boys. And many women have trouble distinguishing between the two. Now, you probably still have a few questions at this point, like, is Maestro's method right for you? So, once again, let me ask you, are you frustrated by your dating life? Are you tired of seeing other people having all the fun? Are you newly single after a long-term relationship? Are you wasting loads of time at bars and speed dating events? Or are you ready to give up dating altogether and adopt a house full of cats? And the most important question, are you ready to take a serious look at your life and make the changes necessary to find the man or woman of your dreams? It's up to you.